Back on the field today, had a really good spirited practice. Thought the guys flew around pretty good. We were just in helmets, preparing for a big scrimmage tomorrow, being full pad scrimmage. So the guys are looking forward to that. But had a good day today. Got a lot done in a short amount of time. Was able to beat the weather, so that was good. But with that said, questions.
Coach Jared McDonald here from the Daily News in Bowling Green. Going back to yesterday, I guess when was the decision made to call off practice? And I guess kind of how did that end up happening? What led up to that for you guys personally?
I think things just happened really naturally. It wasn't any kind of master plan or anything. I was actually driving into work yesterday. Um, Felt like something was on my heart that I needed to talk with the team. We've had discussions in the past. I talked with each one individually during the summer. Had told them, we're going to keep coming back to the issues that we're dealing with our country. I said, so they kind of, the summer kind of led up to that, and then just yesterday, I felt like, we needed to talk as a team. I didn't realize, to be honest with you, kind of what was going on. We're kind of in our own little bubble. So I guess other people kind of felt the same way. Thought we had great discussions. I started talking first, told people how I felt, um, opened it up. A couple of our staff members talked, players started talking. Probably lasted about an hour and 15 minutes, hour and a half. I actually asked the team, I said, we're still scheduled to go practice. Felt like a lot of them did want to practice, to be honest with you, but we continued the discussions. And I felt like under the current circumstances it's a lot of heavy weight when you're talking about serious topics. And I didn't, even though probably the majority of the team probably wanted to practice, I didn't want to pressure anybody after these long discussions to make somebody feel like they need to go practice. So I said, hey, why don't we not practice today? If you want to go out on your own, you can, which was great to see. Our guys, a lot of our guys actually went and had their own PRP practice. And so they were able to get 7-on-7 in, a lot of individual. Felt like they got a lot done, to be honest with you. And it shows the maturity of our football team. But that's kind of basically how things happen, to be honest with you. No master plan, just kind of naturally, organically happened.
Just to kind of follow up on that, I know having those conversations has been a big point of emphasis for you guys. Todd talked about it yesterday when we Zoomed with him, and I know Coach White had talked about it on his podcast earlier this summer. I guess how much do you guys put on that, and do you guys have any other plans in place for anything you might do surrounding the racial injustice and kind of protesting or standing up for it?
I think, for us, I think we do a really good job of just having good relationships with our players in general. Our position coaches are around them every day. I don't. I personally think you don't need to every single day or every week continue to have discussions. Our players are very smart. They're very well educated. They have their own opinions. I think you have to pick your spots as a group, as a whole. That's what we did yesterday, to say, hey, we need to have a family discussion. We need to talk here. But we don't, I let our team feel comfortable in the setting of, they always know if there's something that's important to them. We will definitely be open to that, to talk about it. And we've said that all along. I do think that things, when they happen naturally, they're a lot better, instead of trying to force things to happen. I thought what happened yesterday, it happened naturally, and it was probably really good for our football team. Now, it was really hard. I mean, there wasn't, a lot of, hey, everything's going to be okay, or everybody agrees. That's not what I wanted. I wanted everybody to hear every viewpoint. I wanted discussion. I wanted back and forth. I wanted them to know how I feel. I feel like individuals today, sometimes we've drawn a line in the sand. You have to be over here or over here. And if you don't pick the right side, then, the other side thinks you're evil, And I think a lot of people in America today are having a hard time trying to find their way and their opinions on things. And I wanted our players to know you always stand up for what you believe in and what you think is right. And your opinion may be popular or your opinion might not be popular, but it's what you believe. And so I shared my personal feelings and how I felt. And some of it was probably goes right along with popular opinion, and some of it was probably not, But I think as a coach, it's important for your players to hear your viewpoints and how you feel. And they may agree with everything that you say, they may not, but I think that's really important to a player. And then I think after that, it's really important as a coach to listen, to hear their viewpoints and to hear what's important to them, to hear your staff and what's important to them. And we had a lot of that yesterday. And I think we grew closer as a team. And we'll see what happens down the road. It's like I told him, we'll figure it out as we go. I've always felt like we've done a good job of that.
Coach Casey Warner, College Heights Herald. You mentioned earlier this week that you were going to progress into getting maybe the top 2 quarterbacks the most reps in practice. How has that developed, and how will that play into who gets the most reps at the scrimmage tomorrow?
We'll play them all tomorrow. I still want to see everybody play. I still want everybody to get reps. We'll come off the field tomorrow, watch the film, and then kind of make decisions going into next week. But the reps will be, pretty – I don't want to say they're evenly, but everybody will play. But we'll try to make that transition next week, and I'll let you guys know as we move forward kind of what our thoughts are and what we're trying to do.
Coach Jared McDonald here with the Daily News. I think we've got Malik coming up after you. Looks like he's making the move back to running back where he played in high school. I guess what kind of went into that decision, and what have you seen from him so far in camp?
He's done a really nice job. He's a bigger back, bigger body. He's not afraid to be physical. When we first recruited Malik, he's played both positions. He actually shared with me when we recruited him last year, hey, Coach, I play running back, because he knew we were trying to add some running back depth. It's funny, throughout the season, he kept reminding me of that. Hey, Coach, I play running back. But we did make that transition during the spring. I think he's embraced it really well. He's doing a really nice job. I think he will definitely add value to our running back room there. So I'm excited about him in this upcoming season.
To kind of follow up on that, how do you see him kind of complementing Gage, just having both of those guys back there?
Yeah, I think last year, Gage was so durable. He's the first back I've ever been around that just carried the whole load. And I'd like to, take a little bit off of him, still let him kind of be the guy, but I do want to take some off of him. I think it'll be good for Gage. It'll keep him fresher. I think that's kind of where Malik comes in, an older, mature guy that we trust. So, he'll have his role as well. I think we've done a good job. Coach Ellis and the offense staff has done a really good job recruiting. We got some younger backs we're working with, that are freshmen that, have a good chance of seeing the field at some point this year. And we're looking forward to that. So feel pretty good about the running back room as a whole right now.
Coach, it's Jeff Lightsey from WBKO. Just transitioning from the running back room over to the receiver room, you all lost a lot of production in Lucky last year. And you got some JUCO guys coming in. How was it in camp that you're seeing? I mean, what are you liking so far from your receiver group in terms of replacing the production of Lucky?
Well, I think as a whole overall, we've improved the room. Obviously, losing Lucky, that, we'd love to have Lucky here still, but he's moved on. And so we felt like we needed to add more depth to the room and add some older maturity to the room. I think we had some good young talent there. I think they'll play for sure this year, but added some taller, bigger bodies on the outside that I like. We signed Mitchell Tinsley and Craig Burt. I think those guys are doing a really good job in camp. I really like what Dayton Wade has done, our young freshman, receiver from last year. He got to play just a little bit. I think he's had a really nice camp. And then when you you add those guys in to what's already here, I think you say, okay, that's a pretty solid receiving core. And they know they're all going to play. Coach Ellis does a really good job of rolling guys and trying to put them in the right spots for their skill traits. And so I think everyone's really engaged. They know, hey, I'm going to have my opportunity here when we play.
Anything else for Coach?
Yeah, I have one more question. Coach, have you all started game planning for Louisville yet, or are you still kind of just installing everything at this point in camp?
Yeah, we've actually been game planning for Louisville since the spring. So those game plans were in place since the spring. We slowly have implemented that into practice, bits and pieces of the game plan. As we get done with this scrimmage on Saturday, our sole focus will turn to getting ready to play Louisville. Gives us 2 weeks to prepare. And so I feel like we're in a good spot. It's, that's the luxury of always the first game of the season. You got a lot of time to prepare for your opponent. And so I felt like we're in a good spot as far as the preparation phase for them.